All right, we're going to do it live. I hope you can see me now, Peachy Poo. Hi, welcome. Come into the room. Come into the room. Let me get into it because I'm running late as always. Okay, so let's get into it. It's the gaslighting for me. It's the gaslighting for me. You disappoint me. You're not who I thought you were. Do you think you are who Saweetie thought you were? Do you? When she was like, oh, wow, like I'll date this rapper guy, right? And she probably thought you were going to be really nice to her and sweet, not tossing her around elevators, right? Allegedly. I mean, it's on video. So, I mean, but are you who she thought you were going to be? But she didn't say all that. All she factually said was that you cheated. She didn't even say, right? And then people, because it's the toxicity for me. She's doing it for clout. She's doing what for clout? She didn't release the video. She never said anything about it. She was never going to say anything about it. Okay? So what clout for what? Who wants to date somebody with no self-control? Right? It's the lack of self-control. You got to have some discipline, guys. There's a culture of celebrating lack of discipline. Quiet as it's kept. Quiet as it's kept. And gotta stop that. It shouldn't only be discipline to make a hip hop beat. It shouldn't only be discipline to learn a new dance. It shouldn't only be discipline to practice basketball or football. It shouldn't only be discipline to get to the next level on your Xbox game. Amen? You have to have discipline. All right, now, computer. You have to have discipline around the people that you claim to love and care about. You have to have discipline and you have to have accountability. And that's not celebrated. That's not encouraged, right? So, I don't know. I'm just going to go through it. Okay. Let's be clear. There's a lot of women that stay in relationships. I mean, because there's a larger topic here. Is it a domestic dispute? Is it domestic violence? This behavior. I mean, without a doubt, that was a domestic dispute, right? Two people in a relationship under one roof, right? And there was clearly an altercation, a quarrel of some sort, okay? Okay, Parker School's You says it was both. Okay, let's talk about it. You guys have seen the video by now, I'm sure. If you haven't, you can look it up right now. If you want. Some people find that to be very triggering. I don't like looking at fight videos, and I was very scared when people were talking about it that it would be a video that would trigger me. But I feel like I was able to, look at it from a more objective place. But for some people, it may be triggering, this video, okay, of the Quavo Saweetie altercation, okay? So a lot of people are saying it's both. Both of them have to be accountable. And sorry, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I believe he was in the wrong. I believe he was in the wrong. No, we don't know what happened. We don't know what they was doing before. We don't know if she could have spit in his face. She could have knocked him out before, right? Everyone's saying, oh, there was a swing. Let's get real, okay? You ever been around a guy? Okay? For me, what I saw in that video was someone who was saying, get away, back up, because she knew he was going to throw her into that elevator. She knew he wasn't going to let her leave. Okay? And so she knows that she's confronting a guy and she's a tiny girl. She's not me now. You know, I'm not so tiny. I probably could have picked him up, tossed him, give him a nice little toss. But you know what I'm saying? Either way, women shouldn't have to be put in that situation, no matter what their size is. Okay, but she is a tiny woman. Okay, and so she had to use force in a situation where she knew she was going to be thrown back into that elevator. Right? And it's troublesome to me because these are millionaires. These are millionaires. I saw a video of one of the other Migo brothers. I don't know if they're brothers, cousins, friends. I saw a video of one of the other Migos brothers. He was in a Whitney Houston commercial or music video. I'm sorry. Okay? I wasn't in no music videos when I was a kid. Life was a little bit more tough. So I feel like, what you so mad about, bruh? What are you so mad about? Why do you think it's okay to manhandle and aggressively intimidate a woman to do what you want? That's what happened in that video. Okay. Amongst one another, you can't be so busy looking at what so-and-so is doing to you that you're not seeing what you're doing to somebody else. Right? And what I saw in that video was a tiny woman who knew that for her to get out of this elevator with her bags, she would have to tell the man to back up. You know what I'm saying? And people are saying she swung at him. She didn't swing at him. That wasn't a swing. That wasn't a swing. Come on, guys. Everybody knows what a swing looks like. She was telling him to back up, right? Y'all know darn well when a girl decides she's going to fight a guy, they square up. What do? This is the first thing they do. They be ready for it. They be doing their little boxing moves and right. She wasn't doing all that. She was in despair. She was trying to get out of there, right? And so then let's talk about how she was trying to get out of there. She's trying to get out of there. That's her right. You don't use physical force to make someone stay around you. That's insane. Right? You know how many times I've told my husband, I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm like, and don't try to stop me. He's like, all right. All right. I'll leave, drive around the neighborhood and be like, God damn. Right? But like, I'm not being held against my will. Right? There's something wrong with that. And it's far too normalized for men to be able to do that to women. You know, I think that when you're a woman and you've been in a relationship with a man for a long time and he is aggressive, maybe he's not abusive, maybe he's aggressive. Maybe you don't feel he's abusive, but his actions are clearly aggressive, right? If you guys were in public, people would look at you, right? And think that you need help. Okay? You gotta stop normalizing that guys can just behave like this. You know what I'm saying? And, my husband, guys, if you're in a relationship with men, long periods of time, or a lot of guys or whatever, I've been in a relationship with for a long time, right? Like guys are rough as it is. They're guys, right? For a reason. They can be rough, right? And my husband loves to like squeeze and like hug me really hard. And I'll tell him, I'll be like, ow, that was a strong hug, right? So guys can be rough and tough and as it is. They should never be using their physical strength to bend you to their will. That's where we have a problem. That's where we have a problem. And that cannot be normalized. And I'm not going to, you already know the deal. I'm not accepting it. And it looks like at the end of the day, Saweetie decided she's not going to accept it either. It's like guys think that women think that this is cute. They're like, oh yeah, you love when I'm rough and tough. Don't be too tough. Don't be too tough. And why you want to be tough, right? Why you want to be tough, go be tough over there with him. What you trying to be tough around me for? What that look like? I don't get that. Statistically, the most dangerous time for a woman to leave an abusive relationship is the most dangerous time for the woman in the relationship is when she's leaving. That is the most dangerous time. It makes you wonder. I used the still of him looking at that camera for a reason. He knew what he was doing was wrong. He knew what he was doing was wrong. And instead of letting her clear the record and say, I didn't do anything in this relationship, it's over, there was cheating, it is what it is, he had to jump in and be like, you're not the woman I thought you were. And you gaslighting. That's abusive. That's abusive. And you roughhousing me. And the love is gone. And you cheating on me. We're not having fun, bud. We ain't playing around, bud. Don't put your hands on me. Right? Very appalling. Talking about it looked like an expensive bag. Quavo is worth $4.3 million on his own. Not the group, on his own. Okay? Saweetie, I'm not sure what her exact worth is, but she's worth a lot as well. These people are millionaires. They're not fighting over a Birkin bag. What are you guys talking about? What are you talking about? See, y'all will fight over a bag because you can't afford the bags you're buying. They're not fighting over a bag. She was clearly trying to leave. They get in the elevator. There's a moment. Because the moment is the elevator going back up to the apartment where they're staying. I heard it was Saweetie's apartment from some of the videos that I've watched. And so, right, he brings her back. I don't know why she would try to leave her own apartment, but maybe he wouldn't leave. And she's like, okay, you know what? You won't leave? I'll leave. Right? And he's like, get back here. Because that's what that looked like. That looked like him trying to bend her to his will using physical strength. And that's not acceptable. She's not your child. You shouldn't even be doing it to children, really. I mean, whatever. You handle your kids as you will. I mean, you can't have some kid running around crazy. But you know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to be holding people against their will. If she wants to leave, she can leave. And to do all of that, as grown as he is, what are you doing? You guys are millionaires. Aren't they like in their mid-20s? It's time to grow up. That's not the way millionaires behave. There's no reason to. You're a millionaire. Find somebody else. Find somebody else to date, bruh. What's the problem? You didn't want to do what she required of you to be in a relationship with her, which is not cheat and probably not be needlessly aggressive. You didn't want to do that. So go date somebody else. Why are you putting your hands on her? And she didn't swing at him and do what a lot of other women would have done. Let's keep it 100. Because I know you ain't gonna be tossing me around. It would have been Solange part 2 up in that elevator. Okay. I would have been without a doubt. All right. But yeah. You really have to think, like, what kind of behavior is he doing behind the scenes? I've been around dudes who don't want to have discipline and don't want to have accountability. And I made it clear, then you can go to jail, go directly to jail, do not pass go, do not collect. You're not going to be acting no kind of way around me. Nope. I'm not your mama. I'm not Big Mama. I'm not Big Mama's house. I'm not Medea. I'm not... what? You have to behave around me. I don't like that. People start acting weird around me. I got my hand on the phone. All right? Because I know that I try my best. Sometimes I get anxious in public and I want to be like, I'm anxious, right? I don't do that. I don't do it. I don't yell out like I'm anxious because I control myself. You have to control yourself. It's that simple. So that's again why I talk about, when people want to say, oh, what is it that we have to look for in a man? Controller. All right. You ever see or heard of Drake? I mean, I've heard of him doing some kind of toxic things, but I've never really heard of him doing stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? Controller. It's not cute. These guys need to learn that, these dusty, and again, dust can get on. That's the thing about dust, baby. It can touch anybody. All right? Don't matter the socioeconomic level. Because if they don't know how to behave, they don't know how to behave. You ever seen American Psycho? Jason Bateman? All right? It don't matter how much money they have. It don't matter what they look like. It matters what they do. All right? That dust gets everywhere. And this is dusty behavior. One, he should have had more discipline to not cheat on her. He should have Exactly. Exactly. I'm just glad Saweetie's okay. Okay. Um, that's not funny. What y'all try to normalize and make funny. Um, you got to think about the message that this sends to their very young fans, to young women, right? Um, and once again, look how they do their preferences. Look how they do their preferences. And don't come at me on some, you trying to be divisive. I ain't trying to be divisive. I'm trying to make a point. All right. Which was for years, y'all was sitting around talking about your preferences, right? And everything you would do for your preference, right? And then when you got your preferences, you exhibited that you won't do not one goddamn thing different, except for not be completely broke around them. And even sometimes you do that. Anyways, what kind of message is this sending, And a lot of y'all faves have been caught doing a lot of stuff like this, a lot of roughhousing. I know I seen one of y'all faves choking a girl in public. Black women being like, I love him. Still love him after he beat an iconic pop star, which was like proven in court, right? Y'all still loved him, and there's pictures of him roughhousing other women. And y'all love that? You better find something different to love, baby. You better find a different quality in a man to love. All right? Find a man that loved to work. That's the kind of man I'm interested in. Do he love to work? Do we love his bills paid? Do we love to bring home a check? I don't need him loving to toss me around, grabbing on me, leaving bruises. That's not cute. That's not attractive. Because if he does that in private, he's going to slip and do it in public. And then you've got to explain now to your family and or friends why you've let a man like this around. See, it goes back to that again. You have to be accountable for who you decide to bring around your family, your friends, your community. And I mean that. Yeah, you got to be responsible for that. So you have to vet, and be careful. And I think that Saweetie is showing us she's done the right thing here. She said, you know what? We had a good time. He started cheating, thinking I'm one of his little groupies, putting his hands on me. I'm out. Right? Saweetie left. That's the right thing to do. You don't want to normalize this behavior. You don't want a man to think that this type of behavior is acceptable. I know when I was an undergrad, believe it or not, baby, okay, I always wanted to make other people happy and make other people laugh and totally at my own expense. All right? Any young girls out there that feel that way now? Probably women my age that still feel that way, right? And I definitely feel like I let my guy friends be inappropriate with me, put it that way. A lot of roughhousing and grabbing and just being disrespectful, even throughout college. I would say I never said no, stop. I didn't stand up for myself because I didn't know that I could. Just to be fair to me, I didn't know that I could. I thought that that was normal behavior, right? And so when you know better, you do better, right? So I feel like Saweetie was like, I know better. I'm going to do better. I deserve better. I'm not going to deal with this. She had those bags packed, probably with a few things in them for her to get out of there. And to think that it was anything else is bizarre and weird. you know. All right, let's look at some of the comments. Women is family covering for him. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. I would never. No, 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 no. Yep. Control. Better have control, but you better have control. Very scary situation, Coco Goddess 08. And hello. You know, did you guys see the way she was shaking on the floor? She knew he was going to act like that if she tried to leave. She knew that. If my husband did something like that, I'd be very surprised. I'm like, what the hell? Because I ain't used to that. I'm not used to that. You know, that's why when dudes move around me, I'll be like, what? What? Nope. She was scared. She's a tiny woman, right? And it's clear he's probably tried something like this before. That's clear. I don't know anything about the phone. You know what? I did a red flags video for my Patreon. Maybe I will put it on here for a moment and or make a second video about that. But I think it's definitely important. And that's why I made it for my Patreon, because I think it's definitely important that women are aware. I'm telling you guys right now, I've been around men. I've been on dates, you know. I've been around guys who were like, you know, I'm rich, or I'm attractive, or whatever, you know, and tried to use that to validate themselves. And I was like, no, I'm seeing flags. I'm seeing flags on the play, you know. And when I was in my early 20s and I just moved to New York, I went on a date with this guy, and he was not black. Okay, he was not black. Anyways, he was an older guy, and like he just seemed very hostile and aggressive. I felt a very dark energy, right? And you know, he wanted to move the date further along, and I was like, nope, nope, the date ends here at the subway, baby. Yeah, I know you thought that we were good. Nope. Deuces. And I had to do that a lot, you know. Better safe than sorry. You know, that's how I feel. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of covering for abusers. There's a lot of covering for abusers, absolutely. And you know, I've seen it firsthand. And it angers me greatly. I just believe in calling out toxic behavior, you know? So, yeah. But, you know, like I said, a lot of this reminds me of the Tina Turner situation, where Tina Turner decided to share her story of being abused by Ike Turner, this iconic, you know, guy or whatever. And then it comes out like actually he was severely abusing me, right? He was severely abusing and physically and sexually abusing her, right? And there wasn't a lot of compassion. And then it ended up being a lot of jokes. I'll never forget hearing the first, like, you know, Ike Turner, Tina Turner references in music and rap songs and stuff. And I was like, what the hell is that? You could do the song without doing that. Why are you doing that? And why does it seem like it's at her expense instead of at his? Right? So I feel like when you see how abuse is handled of people's icons and on a larger level, you just know, like, I'm not going to be taken seriously. My account of abuse, right? And I believe that men that are abusive should be shamed, right? Like they should be rejected by their friends and family, right? They should not be allowed at Thanksgiving. You go to God and ask for forgiveness. But what you need to be around family for? You don't know how to act. What you need to be around other people for? You know what I'm saying? Like, and the women, and or if it's the other way around, if a woman is abusing a man, or same-sex relationships, right? There's all different situations. But the bottom line is, the people that are abusive need to be pushed away, not the people that are being violated. And this kind of reminds me of this whole Carry On, Kirk Franklin situation, right? More people are coming forward and saying that there might be some credibility to this whole, he was abused, Carry On situation. And look who gets pushed out, right? Carry On's been pushed out. Carry On's been made the black sheep, right? I know that, I'm big on accountability and breaking generational curses and exposing toxicity. And I'm often made a black sheep in a lot of situations. I'm often made a black sheep, but it is what it is. You're not about to abuse me. So the problem is people will behave that way. And then a person like me will get into the space. And I'm like, now everything's changed for you. Now your whole life is about to change because you're not about to abuse me. I don't like that. I don't deal with that well. So, but yeah. Absolutely, no problem. Like I said, I have this topic on Patreon, and I know y'all slow to check it out, but the Patreon videos definitely go in more detail and depth that I can't really go in here. So definitely check those out if you want to. And like I said, this is something that I do think is important, and I've been planning on making another video for YouTube about it anyways. So, just stick around, make sure you're subscribed, all that good stuff. Exactly. When I see the way that y'all make a joke about that kind of stuff, it's very sad. It's very scary. The way y'all, as in the people, right? Not y'all. Yeah. 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 Absolutely. Absolutely. And I would have been scrapping, but like I said, she's obviously a tiny woman, and that's not something she's going to do, right? So again, it goes back to these aggressive, toxic, dusty males, and what they're allowed to get away with. And the way he tried to like play it off, like, you disappointed me, and I was like, why are you saying all this? Like, why are you making such a big show of it? You clearly were in the wrong, because he's really in the wrong. That's why. You know, he probably knew this video was going to come out. I don't know. It's so bizarre to behave this way, the way that they behave. You know, this is stuff that, you know, it's hood antics. You know, I grew up witnessing a lot of this type of behavior, you know, and it's not normal. I know there's a few times my husband's seen this type of behavior, you know, and he was like, call the cops, you know, he's like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? You know, and I'm like, oh no, that's just what they do. Right? If you step in, they'll get mad at you. If you step in to stop a lot of this toxic behavior, they'll get mad at you. That's how sick it is. You know, I think about a lot of the teenage domestic violence cases as well, you know, and I'm a strong believer, as someone who's taught teenagers for many years. Theater, by the way, I teach theater because that's what I do. As someone who's taught teenagers for many years at this point, and haven't been one myself, I've never agreed with teenagers, you know, dating early. I think the later you date, the better. I dated very late, you know. My first dating experience was at 22. I'm not telling anyone to wait that long. I'm not telling anyone to wait that long. That's a hell of a long time to wait. But you have to understand some of the things that I've seen. Well, why I would want to wait that long, right? You know, and did everything that I could, just so that I could have control. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times women will act like, you know, they couldn't choose their baby daddy, or they couldn't, you know, you can't control situations, or, you know, people will say you can't control who you fell in love with, or, you know, look, you got to have some control. That's why I said control. I want to be the one in control. Okay. Yeah. You ever heard of it? I want to be the one in control. I don't know what songs y'all be listening to, but this kind of songs I listen to. Okay. I want to be the one in control. And so that's very important to me. So I waited a very long time to, you know, I made sure that I got my bachelor's degree, to keep it 100. I was like, I gotta make sure I get my degree, baby. That's what I came here for. Not you fools. No, you know. And I didn't date anyone from undergrad. You know, I didn't date people in college. You know, I just was like very focused on getting my degree and securing myself, and not having some situation arise where I was going to be complaining about, you know, some baby daddy for the rest of my life. Like, no, I'm not interested. So, and I'm not interested in raising some dude's child either. I told y'all about the market, about the market. Remember the market? That's where other women send men's children when a man think they're gonna take care of their child. They're not gonna take care of your child in other parts of the world. Y'all kids end up at the marketplace. It's terrible. It really is. They end up at orphanages. You know, if they know the husband's family, they'll drop them off with the husband's family. But most women around the world have an understanding that they cannot afford to raise some guy's kid by themselves. And then y'all want to basically shit on Black women who decided to raise you, even though other women would have left you at the market. Okay? Ungrateful. Ungrateful. So in conclusion, you know, I think that a lot of people will say, well, you don't know what they're consenting to as to adults in a relationship. They could have a different type of relationship where they roughhouse each other, they do all types of stuff. That's fine, but you don't involve other people, right? That's a public disturbance when you involve other people. So, um, you know, it's one thing to have a different flow of your relationship, but you can't conflate that and use it as an excuse to be abusive. Playtime, you're not teenagers, you know. What you look like roughhousing me? Nope. you know. Um, I remember in grad school we were reading a streetcar named Desire, and it's about this woman and this guy, and I'm sorry, but I don't care how much you love it. I like it. I like it just fine. I would love to be cast in it. It's a great show or whatever. But you guys can see my dolls in the back, my little Tiana, Princess Tiana, and other doll collection. It's a great play, A Streetcar Named Desire. Sure, whatever. It's written well. Yeah. Okay. It's giving me abuse and domestic abuse vibes. That's what it's giving me. Okay. The woman will want to leave and he holds her back. He's physically restraining her. There's a lot of force, the man forcing his will upon the woman. And I argued that this is domestic violence. I don't know why we're celebrating it. Well, I don't know what's going on. But see, this was before social media and all that, yeah. So everybody just told me to shut up. They were like, you don't understand, what it's like when a man and a woman, I don't give a, you ain't putting your hands on me. Point blank. I don't care how much, what are you talking about? You see what I'm saying? And it's like, are y'all really, and women were telling me this, are y'all really willing to put up with that? To have proximity to a man? Of course, not all men are like this. Of course not. But are you willing to put up with abuse just to say you got a man? I'm not. Please like the video if you're in the room too. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Help a sister out. Some of the girls at my school already choose badly. I mean, even if you fall in love with the little boy that's been suspended over 50 times, been in 200 fights, it doesn't mean you have to choose him. Bingo, Peachy Poo. Okay. Okay. I grew up in the hood. Yeah, was there some bad boys? Of course. Okay, of course. I didn't like them, just to be honest. I don't like bad boys. I liked funny guys. But the bottom line is, I've been in situations when I was in my 20s where I realized like this guy is not good for me overall, long run, long term. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like, it doesn't matter how much you like them. You have to have discipline. And if I realize that you're going to get in the way of my ultimate long-term goals and dreams, I don't like you. Right? So if you're going to get in the way of what I want out of life because of who you are and how you behave, I'm not going to like you. So you'll fall out of love. This love that you think that you have for a person. because either they're good for you and they will help you out in life and it's a good fit, or it's not, So again, I'm going to get going, you guys, but, I think that Saweetie made the right choice in leaving. She definitely could have aired him out more, and she didn't, and he didn't deserve, for her to help him out in that way. But she did, because she's probably trying to, look out for him. But listen, ladies, and men as well, because I know that, guys be like, what about women? What about women? I'm talking more physical abuse, but I'll be honest, I definitely feel like women can be verbally abusive at times. Okay. And that's not right either. It's not right. You have to hold people accountable when they're doing stuff that's not right. Okay. And, give them a dose of their own medicine. Let them understand under no uncertain terms that you're not the one with. Because why should they mess with you? You know what I'm saying? I hate bullies, and you guys know that. I cannot tolerate a bully. Like, who you think you think you gonna mess with me? I think it's hilarious when people. Before I go, I'll tell you guys a little story. I'm driving in my gated community, and the speed limit is 15. And I could have very well been going 18. Okay, but I was definitely not going more than 20. All right. It was one of the nicer days, and people are on their bikes and yeah. And I've been really happy to see more Black people moving in, because when I first moved in, I definitely felt like, people were like, several years ago, people were kind of side-eyeing me about being one of the only Black people here. So, I was like, oh, more Black people moving in, that's great. Anyways, this old Black dude, I see a little girl on a bike. I didn't have to drive slower. I didn't have to swerve out of the way, because I was driving slow enough. And because I was driving so slow, I hear this older Black guy, and he's like, the speed limit is 15. And I was like, what? I stopped the car and I backed up. I was like, excuse me? I backed up and rolled my window down. I was like, what? And, I had a conversation with, and he was like, I think the speed limit is 15. I was like, and I was going 15. He's like, it was more like, I said, well, so what was I going, 20? You can't say I was going more than 20, bruh, because how am I having a conversation with you and I'm driving? You ever see somebody have a conversation with somebody? They driving 30 miles an hour, having a conversation with somebody on the street. I'm driving slow enough to talk to you, bruh. Obviously, I'm driving slow enough. The problem was, one, he was mad that I saw his daughter or granddaughter on her bike before he saw me. And that made him feel inadequate as a parent, and it very well should. I don't care that this is a gated community and people ride around on their bikes and stuff. They let their kids ride around on bikes. You're not supposed to. That's why we have a playground, we have a tennis court, we have indoor facilities. I don't know what to tell you. You're not supposed to be just using the street like it's a bike lane. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I was talking about it with my husband, and I said, I feel like this guy was probably upset because people drive really recklessly in here, and they do go well over 15 or 20 miles an hour. And I've been walking my dog when they've been doing it, and it's very disrespectful. Okay, so I make sure that I don't do that. And I feel like people were doing it, and his old Black behind didn't want to say nothing to the oppressor and the colonizers, so he thought he was going to say something to me. No, you're not. No, you're not. And so I put him in his place, because one, bro, you didn't raise me. You're not paying my bills. I'm up in this. I'm half your age. Okay, I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be in this gated community when I'm your age. I'm going to be in a mansion. Okay, so you don't pay none of my bills. I'm not one of your little children or grandchildren that you pay their bills and you run them and you can tell them what to do. So I'm not going to have you normalize and have him think that when he sees me, he can interact with me any old kind of way. No, you can't. You're going to interact with me in a certain way, or you're not going to interact with me at all. That's what you have to do to people. We teach people how to treat us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to be bullied by some old Uncle Ruckus, get off the porch ass nigga, because he's used to bullying all the younger black people in his life. You're not paying my bills for me to be here, bruh. I don't owe you no respect, nothing. I don't believe in that. So, again, women have to understand that, because people will, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times when I put people in their place, they be like, huh? What? You know, I think they expect me to be like, I keep telling people, I'm not Betty Boop. I keep telling people that. I'm not Betty Boop. All right? I'm not going to go boop, boop, be-doo when you mess with me. All right? And you got to let people know that. Even when you're in these relationships with these guys, you know, even early on when you're dating, for example, a lot of times guys will try stuff to push your limit and boundaries, right? And you got to let them know what's up. For me, I've always noticed that people were always like, you're intimidating and aggressive when I place a boundary, right? But I wasn't intimidating and aggressive enough for you to not try me, right? You wanted to try me. Now I'm intimidating and aggressive because you don't like the reaction. No, you don't like boundaries. People don't like boundaries, you know? But you have a right to implement your boundaries. You have a right to do that. And you have to do that when you're in a relationship, when you're a woman and you're, you know, dealing with a guy. You gotta do that. Oh God. All right, I gotta go. Woo. All right. All right. So thank you guys. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. You rock. Don't forget to like the video. Yeah, stay safe. And I'll see you guys next time.